Every human has an addiction, multiple ones. And you cannot overcome them, you cannot just get rid of them. You need to replace them. And this is how I handle my addictions, how I transmute them, how I try to transmute them. And I'm not saying that this is the only path you can go. I'm not saying that this is the right path for you. You need to know what's good for you and what not. If this resonates with you, if this feels good for you, give it a try, give it a go to change something about yourself for the better. If it doesn't, then there's surely another path waiting for you. I just share my path. And I share it as a human, not as a doctor, not as a psychiatrist or whatever you can think of. So how do I handle my addictions? Throughout my life, I've learned that you need a strong will in order to overcome your addictions. But luckily, I've learned that that's nonsense. So the first step is to get withdrawn. So to give your body the chance to get rid of most of the active ingredients of that addiction until you long for it again. If it's media addiction, it will basically be the dopamine deficit in your brain telling you you need to watch something or whatever. And that's where you want to get. You want your body to have the urge again. You want your body to have the contrast in between being on that active ingredient and in between being sober of it for a certain extent. If you manage to sober completely, that's even better. And after that, well, it's simple. You follow your urge again. Step 2 is after you got your urge to do something very badly, you don't fight it, but you do it consciously. You are fully aware that you're doing it, and you observe yourself doing it. And that second step you repeat until you convinced yourself that you actually want to get rid of that addiction. You want to change that. It needs to be embedded within you. So in my case, I will give the example of smoking. So I stop smoking, I get the urge to smoke again. I wait until I have a strong urge and until I really notice the difference in between having smoked and not. I got myself tobacco. I think until now I've probably thrown away like at least 10 packages of tobacco by now. I open my new tobacco. I smell it. I feel the tobacco. I roll myself a cigarette. I smoke it. I taste every draw. I notice how I felt before and how I feel afterwards. I notice getting nauseous and tired. I notice my throat becoming sore. I notice all the things I could be doing instead. I get it deep into my awareness, into my consciousness, that I actually do not want to smoke, because it doesn't serve me. The more often I do this, the faster I actually turn out the cigarette and throw it away. The more often I stay conscious about what it does to me and that I don't want that, the bigger the cigarettes stay when I throw them away. At some point I just take a few draws and then I threw it away. And then, after a while, I get the urge again to smoke, so I smoke again. And that's basically it. That's the cycle you need to go through for quite some time, depending on how deep embedded the addiction is within you. You repeat these steps until your subconsciousness is filled with the fact that you do not want to do that. I repeated that until I, deep within me, knew I do not want to smoke. And once you think you have it embedded within you, that this addiction is nothing that serves you and that's something you want to get rid of. Not because of your will, not because it's unhealthy, but because you're convinced that you do not want that. You're convinced that you could do much better things with that time and energy. Then it's not done. Because now you've created a hole. You created a space in your time, a gap that you do not want to fill again with, let's say, smoking. And now you need to fill that gap. And the third step is to fill that gap that it creates. Because if you become conscious about what you want to change, then you need to replace it with something. If you just stop doing it, it will create a gap or a hole that eventually will be filled with something. And it's your objective, so to say, to fill it with what you desire. So, let's say you've managed. You became conscious. You became conscious about the fact that you do not want to waste more of your lifetime, your resources, your attention for that addiction. It's getting more and more easy for you to refuse this addiction. But what it also does, it's creating a huge gap. An empty space where the addiction once was and still lingers. Now it's up to you to fill this gap. Follow your passions, learn an instrument, draw something, make art, go into the forest, film yourself. On weird and empty and dead places, how you talk into a microphone. Do whatever you feel like. But don't make the mistake to not fill it consciously. If you don't fill it, it will fill itself with the first best thing. Now look back at me again. I stopped smoking countless times. And because I didn't consciously fill that gap, I started excessively drinking coffee, or black tea, or binge YouTube. And then at some point you still don't see the point really, and you start smoking again. So remember, you are in control and no one else. You can fill that gap with whatever you want to achieve, whatever you want to do with that time. And this, if you get to that point, it's a very natural way of stopping, of changing such a habit. It's not painful, it's not a fight, it's not by willpower, it's just by staying conscious, by telling yourself over and over again what you want and what you don't want. What this feels like and what you want to feel like. It's all about consciousness. Your willpower might be helpful for the first step of getting withdrawn from your addiction. Which is why this first step of just getting a bit of distance, don't convince your mind that you need to stop now. Just take a break of it. You're just taking a break, you're not stopping. Take a break. You will start again when the urge comes, and you stay consciously with it and do it consciously. That's it. It sounds easy, it's a lengthy journey. Well, depending on how deeply rooted your addiction is, it's a lengthy journey. But it's worth it. I can promise you that. You have the power to change, you are able to change. You are in full control of changing your habits and changing yourself. Remember that.